about his relationship with missing intern Chandra Levy. A plane crash in the Bahamas has claimed the life of a talented young entertainer. 22-year-old singer and actress Aaliyah was killed along with 8 others. Sandra Hughes has her story.
At the threshold of stardom, 22-year-old rhythm and blues singer Aaliyah was killed along with her entourage as her light plane took off and crashed in the Bahamas. 9 were killed, including Virgin Record executives. Investigators say the Cessna's engines failed.
Who should be heard? Will we remain?
Not yet a household name, Aaliyah Houghton was poised to become one, thanks to her huge popularity on MTV.
And I dedicate this award to my grandfather and to the memory of my grandmother. Peace, thank you.
Known by her first name, Aaliyah, who was nominated for a Grammy, was shooting her next video in the Bahamas. She was a family friend of music producer Quincy Jones, who issued this statement today. She was like one of my daughters. I loved her and respected her, and I am absolutely devastated. Aaliyah was branching out from her R&B roots and cultivating a wide fan base. She just signed on to star in sequels to the movie The Matrix and had received good reviews for her role in last year's movie Romeo Must Die. She told the early show's Mark McEwen she wanted to be more than just a singer.
Since I was little, I started in singing. I did acting, I danced, I did plays.
By 15, her debut album went gold, and she performed at the 1998 Academy Awards.
Everything that I've always wanted is happening to me, and I feel it's happening right on schedule. And I just feel like I have so many places to go and so many things to enjoy. I'm just very happy, very blessed.
Investigators in the Bahamas will possibly ask the U.S. for help in finding out what caused the crash and the death of the rising star. Sandra Hughes, CBS News, Hollywood.
Blessed.
MTV News correspondent Sway has spent a lot of time covering Aaliyah. Sway, good morning.
How are you doing, Jane?
You got to know Aaliyah very well, personally and professionally. Tell me about the Aaliyah that you knew.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you for having me, and I want to send my condolences and prayers out to Aaliyah's family and friends and the other passengers who were on the plane. The person I actually met her first in 1996, but she was introduced to the world in 1994 with her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. She did a lot of production with R. Kelly at the time, and then she came out with her second album in 1996, One in a Million, which helped her go from R&B status to pop status, and she broadened her career, went into acting. The Romeo Must Die movie with Jet Li, and the Romeo Must Die soundtrack, which was a top-selling album off the charts, and that led to other roles, Queen of the Damned, as well as Matrix 2. And she was a very positive, graceful, she was almost like the hierarchy of R&B.
And really on the road to superstardom.
Yeah,
would say.
definitely. She was definitely in the peak of her career. I mean, The Matrix 2, she just finished doing a role for The Matrix 2. Wow, she was just a very powerful entertainer.
She had incredible success at such a young age, and she lived a full life. In fact, MTV followed her
That's right.
around the world for a special video diary. And I want to show folks a part of that.
Okay.
Everything is worth it. The hard work, the times when you're tired, the times when you're a bit sad. In the end, it's all worth it because it really makes me happy. And I wouldn't trade it for anything else in the world.
I love you.
I've got good friends, I've got a beautiful family, and I've got a career. I am truly blessed, and I thank God for his blessings every single chance I get.
So focused for a 22-year-old, and you mentioned the grace she had, the maturity at her age. What kept her grounded?
Well, I think a couple of things. I know she had God in her life, and plus her family was very instrumental in her career. I mean, she always had that positive guiding force, and Aaliyah has always been a positive role model for women across the world, across the board of every race, and very positive for a black woman. And she didn't use a lot of TNA to sell records. She always was graceful and beautiful, very soft-spoken person.
You mentioned she starred in Romeo Must Die. She had signed on to do 2 sequels to The Matrix. Was it unusual for her to reach the level of success in the movie business that she had as an R&B recording artist to
I don't think it's unusual. I think it was a surprise, the job she did in Romeo Must Die. I mean, that was a surprise hit, and you know how this industry is. Once you're hot, and all the business start coming in, and I think she was taking advantage of all of it, and it was well deserved.
Do you remember the last time you saw Aaliyah?
Yes, I actually saw Aaliyah 2 weeks ago. I was at a listening party for the rapper Jay-Z for his new album, and one of his top executives, Damon Dash, brought her to the listening party. And I had met her years before when she came out with the One in a Million soundtrack. I interviewed her, and I gave her a hard time, and she humored me throughout the whole process, and she gave me a very warm feeling. And years later, seeing her 2 weeks ago, the first thing she did was smile, waved, and said hello, and kind of blended in with the crowd. She was a very humble superstar.
You'll remember her grace and
Yes.
her warmth.
Yes, definitely. And I like to celebrate her life. You know, it's a tragic death. She had a wonderful life, and that's what I remember most about Aaliyah.
Let's remind everybody that MTV will air its Diary of Aaliyah. You can check your MTV.com or your local listings for that. Sway, good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
And thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Coming up on...
Investigators looking into the plane crash that killed singer Aaliyah have little to say so far. On Monday, hundreds of fans in her hometown of Detroit held a candlelight vigil mourning her death. Bobby Harley has more.
Speculation is plentiful about what brought down this twin-engine Cessna in the Bahamas, killing all 9 people on board. What's scarce are answers.
We're gathering weather information, we're gathering weight and balance information, we're gathering information on the airplane, we're gathering maintenance, we're gathering to see who's on the airplane, we're trying to find anybody who knows anything about it.
What is known is that an up-and-coming young actress and R&B musician was among the dead. 22-year-old Aaliyah and her entourage were filming a music video on the Bahamian island of Central Abaco. Ironically, they had chartered a larger plane to take them back to Miami later Saturday night. For some reason, they changed their plans and boarded a smaller plane earlier.
Eyewitnesses said the small plane took off and climbed about 50 feet when it suddenly veered to the left. It then crashed nose first right off the runway and burst into flames. It was an accident, eyewitnesses said. No one could survive.
Bodies burnt beyond recognition, and a whole lot of blood and a lot of burns. I saw the man come out on a stretcher. He was really burnt bad and had lots of laceration to about the head and body.
Theories of what caused the accident range from too many people and too much cargo on board to engine failure. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating.
Who should be hurt? Who should be shamed?
Entertainment industry insiders say Aaliyah was on the brink of superstardom. She'd already earned 2 Grammy nominations, made her feature film debut last year, and was set to star in several more.
And I just feel like I have so many places to go and so many things to enjoy. I'm just very happy, very blessed.
Young dreams now dashed at the end of a runway. Bobby Harley, CBS News, Central Abaco, Bahamas.
Coming up.
It's been almost 6 months since Aaliyah, the R&B singer and budding film star, was killed along with 8 others when their small plane crashed in the Bahamas. This weekend, the final feature film she was working on before she died will be released. Queen of the Damned is based on one of the popular books in the Anne Rice vampire series. Aaliyah plays the title character, Akasha, the mother of all vampires.
Now you are my consort. That's why I kept you safe. Alive.
You?
You thought it was all you? The ego of a king as well.
Rashad Houghton is Aaliyah's brother. He's in Los Angeles this morning. Mr. Houghton, good morning.
Good morning, Jane.
A lot of people doubted that this movie would ever make it to theaters. Were you optimistic that it always would?
Yes, I was. Aaliyah was very, very adamant about this film. She worked extremely hard, and everyone that worked hard on this film, we were 100% behind making sure that it came into theaters.
Aaliyah's death was so tragic, and I know it's been so difficult for you and for your family, and certainly for many of Aaliyah's fans to deal with this. At what point did you realize that you wanted to bring this movie to life?
Well, it was really a no-brainer. as soon as everything happened, me and my family came together and we said this film has to come out because it really was a dream come true for Aaliyah to get the role. She worked extremely hard with many different people. Her acting coach, Harold Guskin, Mace Perlman, a movement coach, a dialect coach. This was a really difficult role that she put a lot of time and effort into, and it really was a step in the right direction for her acting career. And we knew what it meant to her, and it was only right for this film to come out and for her fans to be able to enjoy it and see her work.
A lot of her fans have expressed some concern about the release of the movie, thinking that it might be disrespectful to her memory. What do you say about that?
Well, I believe that ultimately fans have to be able to separate reality and fantasy. It is entertainment, and it is a fictitious role. Aaliyah did this role before everything happened, and I know because of what's happened, it adds a different light to it. But ultimately, it's art, and she's at her happiest moment performing her art, and it's actually a wonderful, excellent role, and I think her fans will ultimately embrace that fact and enjoy the film.
It's a horror film, so I know the subject matter was a bit touchy. Did that worry you at all?
It didn't worry me because I was there during the time of the entire shoot, and I watched her, and the joy that she had doing the role and the joy that everyone had making this film really is what I embrace and what my family has embraced. And it's really wonderful that even Anne Rice has blessed the project, and everyone really needs to stand behind this because it's an excellent film.
You were asked to redub your sister's dialogue for this movie, is that right?
Yes.
How did that work?
Well, Michael Reimer came and approached me, and what happens is during the process of post-production, there's a process called looping, where some of the actors' lines are lost, with ambient sound. And he said that it would be a great idea if I came in and did the looping to save some of the lines that might have been lost and some of the consonant sounds due to the accent that she used. And I thought it was at first unusual, but Michael assured me that he'd walk me through it, and he stood right by me. And it was actually a very therapeutic process for me to be in there and do the looping, and it really turned out really well. And because Akasha, the role of Akasha is an otherworldly character, the voice, it really worked, and I really feel proud and honored to have been a part of the legacy.
So your masculine voice was able to replace hers?
It doesn't actually replace, it's actually mixed in through the sound engineers, and I actually used a tone that was very soft, and he told me how to use my voice. And if you listen to it, it's mixed in on different levels, but it worked very well for the film.
You've seen the movie, Rashad. What do you think?
I think it's great. I think Aaliyah's performance, Stuart Townsend's performance, Marguerite Moreau, everyone in the film did an excellent job. Michael did an excellent job, and I really think fans are going to enjoy the film.
Well, we hope they do, and I appreciate you discussing the movie and remembering your sister this morning, Rashad Houghton. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jane.
All right. And we're back with more on The Early Show right after this.